Earlier, good. Oh, we got sound. Hey, good morning, everybody. Just the last couple moments of adjustments. Sometimes you just gotta like adjust things. You know what I'm saying? So, good morning, good Saturday morning. It is 7 a.m. here in good old Phoenix. I've got a good cup of goodness right here. Cup of coffee. I hope you're enjoying your coffee wherever you are, and hopefully you're back on the golf course. I don't want to get my microphone dipped into my coffee mug. That would be called a Canadian dip. We don't want that. We're going to put this to the side here. Yeah, my associate here. Video page, video page, video page. Where am I missing? Right, JC, which one? This one. Oh, the blue one. Ah, might be my cheap mic. I think it's got like one ring. Oh, really? Right. Okay. Oh, yeah. Okay, let's see. Short. I have. Let me tell you what. Let me see if this one may do it. Got all of the audio. I think test, 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 test. No? Test, test, test. 1, 2. Fly me to the moon. Groovy. Cool. Hey, thanks for putting up with me. So is Lee not working? There's Lee. There, well, that's okay. Old Jack. Oh, they're named. Much respect out there to those studio live broadcasts when somebody says, "Okay, and you're on in," and stuff works. Yes. Lee. Groovy. All right, so I'm gonna go live. I am live, right? Cool. Let's go face on. Groovy. Hey everybody, Martin Chuck here, and I appreciate you tolerating some of the stuff getting started today. Today's all about smashing the driver. You know, I've got my driver in hand here. Let's talk about this because this is the play club. This is the club that we have to get into place. We're going to talk about building a better driver swing today, right? So I've got the studio here. Let's see here. First ball of the day. Let's smack one. This is actually very nervy. Let's go. I've got four set on. Haven't hit the ball yet. Let's see what I got. Now, you know, I'm going to tell you not to do this, but let me just take a little practice swing. Oh yeah, just a fine. This is a fine-tuned machine right here. People might pop this up and see how we do. Let's bring in my inner Matthew Wolf, who hit it in the event last week, which is unbelievable. I can't do that. But let's have some fun with it anyway. Okay, no Matthew Wolf. but fun nonetheless. Whew, that felt good. We're going to talk about the accumulators, the power accumulators, which is a little left, not too bad. Let's see here. What did I get out of that bad boy? 275, morning ball. You know, not too shabby ball speed. Oh, it's only about 30 miles an hour less than Matthew Wolf, but it's what it is. I've also got, I've hit a few mortgages and had a couple of kids, and he hasn't had any life challenges yet, so he'll know. He'll slow down as he gets older. It's all good, right? So we're talking about building a better driver swing. And I want to show you a book here that has been on my nightstand and actually just accidentally just happens to be right there. It's called The Golfing Machine. And The Golfing Machine has been a kind of a staple in coaching for, man, it's got to be 60 years now. Anyways, neat guy. Homer Kelly wrote this book, and he was a guy that was frustrated by coaching. And, you know, what is coaching an art? Is it a science? Well, he tended to think it was more of a science. And see, I think it's both. I mean, I think depending on the student, when you come to see me, I think it's kind of a blending of the goodness. It's like, okay, sometimes we can talk soft thoughts with people. Sometimes we got to talk hard thoughts with people. You know, it takes time to make a change. But sometimes, depending on the student, you paint pictures, and the pictures do a great job for folks. Other times, you got to just talk hard facts. And you, as a coach, you know, for me, I've got to understand how I'm going to talk and convey that to everybody. So the Golf Machine talked about 4 power accumulators, and it's a good place to start with you guys as you build, and gals, as you build your driver golf swing. So I've got some videos I'm going to attempt to roll through here today to kind of talk about these accumulators, and I want to get started with you. When you've seen some tour players, maybe they're, you know, waiting for the group ahead, and you know, they're on par 5, and some guys are standing there. I always think of Vijay Singh. Vijay Singh's always kind of casually standing around, and Vijay could smash it, the big Fijian guy, right? So Vijay's standing, he's won, I don't know, 50 times. So he's always standing there, and he's got this motion right here. Well, guess what this is? This is a power accumulator right here. This is important. And the reason I'm sharing this with you, let me go to a couple of cameras here so we can kind of see this. Let's go down the line. I got to get used to where my cameras are. There we go. There's my down line cam. So as we go kind of into this motion right here, you see this power accumulator. This is important because this event of a left arm or a lead arm having a mild bit of rotation, you can see how much distal speed that you get in the club head. Now, if I don't have that angle between my left arm and the shaft, watch what happens. I can move my forearm all I want. All I really get is face rotation. That face rotation is going to scatter golf balls out there. You need Lassie to help you find them all, okay? So my point here is, if we get steep in a golf swing, in this manner right here, there's no reward to have any forearm rotation. What you're going to do is you're going to learn how to back things up to make things mildly functional. So talking about that power accumulator, this is where I want you to start. I'm trying to help you build a better driver swing. Just kind of stand, get your feet together, get your good hands on the club. And we're going to talk about building your grip as well, but let's go through these accumulators. This motion of forearm, let's just let the club kind of rotate in your lead arm. Feel how this tiny little motion, this little bit of input, creates an extreme amount of output. And then if you can slowly let that develop, let that overtaking rhythm happen, because that's a super big event right there. Now you'll notice as I'm doing this, I'm letting my body get involved. Okay, that's the next power accumulator. We're going to talk about body rotation. Nobody hits. Let's go to one of our videos right here and really enjoy this one. We're going to go take a look at Matthew Wolf. Let's see here. Let's come back to here. Okay, whoops. Go to Matthew Wolf for me. For whatever reason, that's old Lee. There's Matthew Wolf. Oh, there was Matthew Wolf. There we go. Matthew Wolf. Okay, so fantastic looking setup right here. Now, I like to highlight this great little booty motion he's got right there, right? That's his priming event. That priming event's fantastic, but this guy has got some kind of turn. This is a power accumulator right here. Unbelievable amount of turn. He lifts his left heel. Take a look at that heel raise. This shaft gets way across the line, okay? And he's going to have this situation now where he's got this massive amount of turn, and he's got this actually situation lead on for a while because the club gets way, way, way outside as it goes up. But watch this shallow, watch the magic happen here in a second as he lets his trail leg straighten. So that trail leg straighten, that hip turns deep into its backswing, and that shaft's going to lay down behind him. So guess what he's got right now? He's got this great ability right here to have this rotation of the club head as it starts to work its way down into impact. Right? So he's like hitting on all cylinders, this young man. And in the last event on TV you had unbelievable cast, right, of DJ, Ricky, Rory, and Matthew. Matthew hit the long drive a couple of times, just epic style, right? So he hit a 375-yard drive and a 360-yard drive. If you would have bet me, I wouldn't have thought he would have been the longest guy. But he can, he's got another gear. It's super special sauce. So it's a fantastic ability to mash it. Now let's come back just to face on. So you just saw there's young, both the men's tour and the ladies tour. You know what comes to mind on the ladies tour? Maria Fassi. But back to Matthew Wolff for a second there. We talk about these power accumulators as lead arm of his. Okay, it's got this ability to rotate. Now it's interesting with Matthew is when he takes it back, he does his neat job of it doesn't do anything on the backswing. If I go to down the line cam, he takes it back, the club's way outside, so there's no early rotation of this arm. He develops a massive turn. He lets the lead foot come off the ground. The club shallows behind him. Now he's in this position where he's got that ability for his unwinding to help exponentially build the energy in the lead arm to smash it out there. So we've got two of the accumulators spoken for already. This lead forearm rotation, okay, from right-handed golfer, the left arm. The massive. Now, for some of you out there, can you overdo the turn? Sure. If you can't hit the middle of the face, and trust me, Matthew Wolff is hitting the middle of the face 19 out of 20 times. And when he's hitting the heel or the toe, it's only marginally. Okay, so there's two power accumulators we're talking about now. Lead forearm roll and this big, big turn that Matthew develops. Now, I want to talk, the next accumulator is how we're going to add energy to these two things by right arm thrusting. Okay, so right arm thrusting. Let's go back to a video here. Let's go take a look at, we'll look at Lee Trevino. Let's see, Lee pops up here for us. Come on, Lee. Oh, the video page, video time, video scene, Lee Trevino. Oh, I'm getting there. Come on, machine. I want Lee. Put Lee up for me, if Lee will pop up there. There we go. That's Jack, and that's fine. Jack will do. All right, so this guy's my hero. Okay, I've got Jack right now. So he's not quite the big move Matthew has, but he's letting that lead heel lift. Okay, he's letting that left forearm have rotation, and he's getting that situation where his right arm has some bend in it. We need some right thrust behavior. Now you can see I've got some lines up there to help you under some of the themes, the necessary themes here. That shaft is shallowing, but watch that right arm as it straightens. So we'll play this again for you here. And this is, he can still give it he can still send it for a guy that's, I think Jack's darn near 80 years old, and he still gives it a pretty wild wallop. So there's the trail arm that's bending, and as it works down through impact, that trail arm is thrusted. Okay, so there's a big power source in that thrusting going on right there. So I'm going to come back to face on. Blending these things together, you got a big turn. Okay, you've got how this the opportunity for arms to be in a position where they can add a lot of energy. And then the final one is this hinging, unhinging. This will be motion right there. It's just some first hinge. Let's go pick another one here. Let's go back to, let's see who we want to look at. You know what, just for funsies, let's go to the old Hulk smash right here. Let's go to, there it is. I love this video. Martin Borgmeyer. Okay, this is crazy because this, you talk about some wrists that add elements of speed. Look where that club gets to in the time. This is a walk-off home run right here. He throws the club, and he's walking around. He is pumped right here. 155 club head speed, excuse me. 231 ball speed. That was just 80 miles per hour faster than my 275-yard ball right there. So he deserves to be fired up. But when you watch this. This is crazy. Because one of my assistants, the awesome Jim Waldron, he was third in the world a couple years ago. These guys keep pushing it and pushing it and pushing it. Now we're going to talk about some of these things. Look at how he kind of ramps up his body right now. He's going to push into the ground, and that's going to be our little cherry on top to kind of wrapping up these four accumulators. He's in that squatted position to really push and turn like crazy. He's got that lead forearm rotation. The right arm's bending quite a bit. Now, you can't overbend things, and I'll explain that in a second. Look at the hinge. Now, if you're trying to find the middle of the green from 160 yards out, I wouldn't recommend doing this. But for Hulk smash here, this club now can travel like crazy down into a golf ball. And that might be the highest recorded ball speed ever at that crazy 200. My assistant get it up to 215, 216. And watch this footwork. This footwork. And he's off the ground, okay? Right leg straight to build a backswing. A lot of right leg push for speed. And then right there, that 230-pound gentleman is not on planet Earth for that millisecond right there. And that's one of the ways he puts his will into the chief right here and smashes the driver. And that he deserves to walk around. And then for fun, I would never do this in person, but I'm gonna draw a little, funny face on old Martin Borgmeyer. He could eat me for lunch, this guy, okay? But this guy can absolutely smash a golf ball. So, talking about these accumulators. Accumulators that are imperative for you to understand. We got to get our will into this club. How are we going to do that? We're going to do that with a nice turn. Now, getting into this nice turn a little bit, some of the turns I see aren't so nice. What do I mean by that? Well, if I show you from a down the line, as I'm over a golf ball, let me tee one up to explain. And we'll move through these because I want to build your driver swing. I want you to smash it. I want you to be able to, for your physicality, and I wish I'm a Martin, but I'm not a Martin Borgmeyer. Okay, so that physicality he has is unbelievable. But the turn, when you get into your shoulders to turn flat, because then you don't have a relationship to the ground. The turn I'm looking for that's going to help you give it a smash is once you get in your hip hinge and you're looking down at the golf ball, we call this heart to the ground. I want your lead shoulder working down under your chin a little bit because now you're getting something closer to the ground. When you get something closer to the ground, now you have that ability to push it away from the ground. And that's that's part of the engine that's going to make the rest of the stuff make some sense. Now, if we talk about right arm participation, the thrust, as though you're going to smoke somebody right in the nose, we don't want you to do that. But say you're going to bend your arm and thrust your arm. Or say you're going to jump really high. You would never settle down way down here on your heels to jump. You're too overbent. Same thing happens with a lot of golfers swinging a golf club. There's a range of motion in your trail arm that can be too bent. When it's too bent, you can't get it out. So when we're developing power trying to smash the driver, okay, we're going to get in our pin. We're going to play the golf. So you can see I've got my golfer's toolbox down here with the ball is forward to my stance. As my pin and I start to develop my backswing, my trail arm is bent, but it's not so overbent that I can't actively, with energy, get it straightest, its fastest. So you need to kind of find your range of motion that's going to let you smash it. Now, as we go into the next little pieces of speed, think about Vijay Singh, how that lead arm has to have a little bit of this rotation. It's only going to have that rotation, you guys. When you watch that video, I kept putting little illustrative marks on the screen, kind of showing you how a club has to go into a shallower condition. If a club gets into a steeper condition, do you really think you're going to let that lead form be an active participant in generating speed? I don't think so, because from here, when you get steep over the top, you have to respond by fitting the club onto the ball. It's going to slow you down. So sometimes trying to swing easier actually adds speed because we get the golf club in a position that makes more sense. So as I have the club in a position where I've developed a nice backswing, when the club shallows to a degree, it's getting into a spot now that's farther away from me. It gives my brain some time. It allows me to use this accumulator, the lead arm rotating and the trail arm thrusting, and then you can smash it. So sometimes slowing down helps you speed up. So developing your driver skills, think about those accumulators. Think about the rotation of the body, the rotation of being in a forward bend and a hip hinge, lead shoulder down. Think about how your arms work and that this lead arm has to have a bit of rotation in that condition. The trail elbow is nice and bent. And if you do it all right, let's see if I can speed up if I can go a little farther than 275 on the second swing. See how we do. Try to get some Martin Borg. Give it a good smash. Let's go to the foresight. See what I get there. Come on, baby. This episode on. See how I do. Oh, I think I pulled that a little bit. Yeah, I did. You know, I knew it off the face. Rats. So hopefully that ball's in play out there. I get to go play that golf ball. We'll see. So it was a 286 ball, but you know what? It wasn't a 286 ball in play. So let's try that one more time, because that right there we go. Let's do another one of those. Speeding up a bit, but that we want to have that ball be in play. So my machine's going through it. That's it. That's the screen I'm looking for. Develop a backswing. See if I can smash this more to the middle of the fairway. Now we're going to talk about some of the bonus pieces to smashing the driver here just in a second. Some grip and some setup bits. That's pretty straight, but you know what? It wasn't exactly off the middle of the face, so it's not going to be the best tee ball right there. Yeah. You know what? That's a, hey Martin, good drive, and inside you're going, oh man, I mishit that thing. That didn't feel great because I hit it kind of on the Death Star of distance right here. I hit it on that spot where impact was kind of low in the heel. So going for the big ball, guess what? I mishit the sweet spot. The golf ball was favorable, went in the middle of the fairway, but I didn't hit the center of the face. So you know that's that mild deflating sense that you didn't crush it. Because let's face it, a lot of golfers love that sense of just hitting the ball in the middle of the face. So smashing the driver. Think about, let's go back to some videos here. Let's go back to, let's go to Lee Trevino. Got Steve help me out here. Let's pull old Lee up here. And I want to put, you know, I say old Lee because he'd call himself old Lee. Now let's go through this. Watch Lee's footwork. Lee's not standing still. This is hysterical. We'll play this on a loop a couple of times. You know, why do you think he's using this footwork? You know, this is priming. He's not standing on a bed of red ants right here, everybody. He is getting his feet ready to go to get this body, who's a little bit older than me. I'm going to say 25 years older than me, maybe 30 years older than me. This motion is helping watch his trail knee, loses flex in the backswing before it regains some flex, okay? I guarantee you Lee's not going to yoga class anytime soon, but he uses his footwork to help him get moving, and watch this beautiful delivery that he's famous for. This slotting of the golf club to smash it out there, and I guarantee you he's aiming at that pin down there, and that ball is going right for it. So this is some amazing footwork. Let's talk about that. Let's go face on. So you just saw one of the best ball strikers ever. And I grabbed a video of older Lee because a lot of the people watching this, my clients are my age and older. And what I loved about Lee is Lee's not standing there. And we'll go back to Martin Borgmeier in a second. But Lee's not standing there statically. He's moving. And this is the motion right here. He is feeling his pressure go to the left foot, to the right foot, to the. This is a priming event for anybody. One. In that event of kind of keeping things going, that's a big deal. So as Lee's moving his body right here, that's really super important that you guys take that on, because that's a priming event to help you be more athletic. Let's bounce over, guys. Let's go Hulk Smash, Martin Borgmeier. Let's take a look at that one. My tees here. Excuse me while I collect a few of those, because I really want to show you the athlete in Martin Borgmeier. So watch that trail leg of his. So this is him. He actually has a pretty normal looking setup right there. Then watch that trail his right leg get really flexy. and push super hard to really develop a backswing turn, one of those accumulators. And there's that crazy, crazy club head speed. And so Martin gets, he looks, dare I say, rather normal for somebody that could be in a superhero movie, hitting a golf ball with ball speeds of 230 miles an hour. It's inconceivable, actually. So, superhero movie. Those guys in the long drive circuit, you know, they're going to be like, oh my gosh, there's a couple guys out there that they hope don't catch it in the middle of the face. Now, the TV viewers, we want to see that ball go 490. Okay, we do want to see that. We want to see it fly 415, 420, which he's capable of doing. And maybe it hits the grid, and maybe it goes and runs into the Starbucks that nobody thought anybody could hit down the corner. But Martin Borgmeier, he looks rather normal. And then he's got this event where he really kind of flexes it. Why does he flex it? He flexes it so he can push really hard. That push is what helps him have the fastest swing. Okay, 230, crazy 155 mile an hour golf swing, right? And not only is it the club head speed insane, it's the timing of that. His golf swing's rather long. It starts off at the golf ball. It goes to some position that's kind of living pretty long over here with a lot of bent wrist conditions and elbows. And his swing is under 1 second long to go from 0 to that 155 mile an hour club head speed. So in order for him to do that, there's a tremendous amount of push into the ground to get that backswing. I'm going to go ahead and see if I can get the golf ball in the middle. It's Martin Borgmeier. So his right leg is pretty straight at address. He looks rather functional, rather normal at this moment. There's a lot of bend and a lot of Hulk smash. And so that wasn't bad for me. A little spinny, so that's not going to fly as far as it ought to. So 106 miles an hour club head speed. A little bit disappointing, not going to lie. I wish that ball was going a little farther than that. It's out the right side. Now, you know, as I talk and as I try to kind of put in these bits for you guys to kind of help you understand how to ratchet up your speed, you know, I'd be remiss in saying that I'm not kind of hitting this thing on the button. This isn't the Martin Chuck swing that is sort of reasonable and tends to find the golf ball sort of in play. I'm trying to help you guys understand some speed. And what you're going to do is say, all right, you know what? Sometimes swinging harder, even though it feels harder, isn't as effective as something that's a little bit smoother, right? Where the sequence and the segments tend to work together. So let's see. I got a question. Questions popping in. Good. How do I grip the driver? Is that the question? Cool. Tell you, you grip the driver just like you grip the other golf clubs. Now, you might have two gloves on. You might be in a very strong looking position because all you're trying to do is kind of mash this driver with a high launch and a low spin, and that's all you're trying to do. Now, if you're playing golf, which most of you watching this coach golfers, I'm just help you understand how you can kind of maximize this thing and find your golf ball. So this little bit, please pay close attention to this. Let's talk about how to get your grip on there. You know, when you grip a club, people that come to my golf school, the club is always basically pointed up at our tummy. We got this club, it's at 45 degrees to the ground. People grip it in this situation, and the grip is too much along the hand rather than across the hand. So if this was a briefcase, one of my good friends coaching, excellent coach, Michael Jacobs, said, you know, if you were walking, you're carrying a briefcase, how would you balance the briefcase in your hand? Well, that handle would very naturally and easy just be across your hand as you walk through the airport with it. Well, in golf, it's kind of awkward because the weight is way out there at the end, and it doesn't make sense to kind of do that with a golf club because we feel this force trying to unhinge our hand. But if we grip it with that intent, get the grip of the club across your hand. So this is across, this is along. Once again, there's across my hand, there's along my hand. We want it the accumulators, this subtle little wrist hinge that provides some motion and really gets the club nicely situated in our hand for control. Because if we just casually put our lead hand on there and it's along our hand, we don't really have it secured nicely in the last 3 fingers of that hand. So we want to feel like we can get the grip across our hand. And this is how I'd suggest you do it out there to build your best driver swing. Hold the club off the ground on a 45-degree angle. Make sure the face is nice and square, so check that face right there. Go ahead and put that grip on. And now when you relax your lead arm, your left arm beside you, the grip is across your hand. Now, little other elements you can look for visually. When you look down, I want that, for me, we'll talk for the right-handed golfer right now. Side of what I'm hitting. Okay, so my left thumb is on the top right quadrant of the grip because when I change direction and I go to wall a golf ball, this golf club head is trailing, it's lagging into impact a little bit, and I want to feel like I can support that impact. My right hand is behind that left hand. My right hand is supporting that glove hand, and my thumbprint is on top. So getting your hands on is critical. Okay, now the trail hand, let's go ahead and put the trail hand on there. We're going to make sure we grip the club with the club off the ground just like this. You can do that. Get the face nice and square. When you put your trail hand on, and trust me, I know most of you were taught by lovely folks that brought you out to the golf course, God bless them, but they probably taught you how to interlock. They probably said, hey, you got to put your index finger and pinky finger, and that's how you grip a golf club. I'll tell you what, that's one of my biggest sources of frustration. That and people throwing cigarette butts out the window of their car on the highway. Now, interlocking grip is great. Sure, Tiger Woods does it. Jack Nicklaus does it. A bunch of tour players do it. But 90% of tour players don't. 90% of tour players just have an overlap. Why? Because it's a much easier way to get your trail hand, my right hand, on the grip properly and get the grip in the fingers. Now, you want to impose your will on this golf club at high speed with control to hit the golf ball in play as far as you can. Interlockers out there think that they have to go webbing to webbing with their hands, and they push their hands all the way together, which doesn't provide the right hand an opportunity to really get nicely on the golf club to support that club at the top. When you go webbing to webbing, the hands are mashed together at the top. You don't really have control. You're going to bring this club in impact. It may be wide open. Who knows what you're going to do? And I don't want you developing a funky delivery with a poor grip. And believe me, the people that come to my golf school, they've been playing for years in many cases. They come to the school and they've got a bad grip. They've been playing so long with the inability to really have a peaceful control over that club head at high speed. Now, obviously, next thing would be, where does the golf ball go? How do you, with a driver, talk to me about stance with Martin. I just got a question, so thank you for the questions. Now, the driver stance is important. It's the foundation for moving this club very fast. Now, I could swing it and have a narrow base like this, but if I did so, it doesn't really allow me to use foundation. It doesn't really allow me to use the ground properly. Now, let me explain that. Think about baseball. You know, you've got a guy waiting on a pitch. He's up here. The pitch is coming. That lead foot, sometimes the times that the pitcher's about ready to rear back, that lead leg of a baseball player goes up, boom. That step, that's a motion, that's a stabilizing event that helps that player rotate and smash the baseball, hopefully out of the park, wave at all the fans. That's fantastic. So the baseball bat's up, they time it, the leg goes and it settles and it's very anchored. Now you'll notice the angle my body's on right here. This right here is a kind of a force away from the target, but that's how I can really rotate and smash it. If I had to have my feet together, which is fine, and let me explain the two stances we teach at the golf school, then I'm going to be more of a club head swinger rather than a body rotator. Okay? Nobody in the major leagues would hit a baseball out of the park with his feet together unless they're some crazy superhuman. Most of them have to have this timing step, and they have this event where they can now rotate really hard to help them accelerate that bat. So if your body's in decent shape and you feel like you're capable of rotating, here's what I want you to do to hit the driver a decent distance. Because if you look at the long drive guys, they have fairly wide stances, and this is why. They're going to set up to a golf ball. The golf ball is going to be the most forward within their feet. So there's my lead foot. There's the golf ball. That's the most forward within their feet. They're going to have a wide stance. Now, where does that put my head in this screen? Puts it well behind the golf ball. Okay. So as I'm setting up to hit this one, and I'll go ahead and give this a smash, go ahead and go to foresight, and let's see how we do here. So I'm set up well behind the ball. Now as I hit this, the sense of pressure is going to be to land into this left side, rotate and smash one. Let's see how I do. Felt pretty good, but I pulled it a little bit, darn it. Got some face on it though. And let's go to the foresight and see what the numbers were. There we go. So 281 ball. Not too bad. Down the left side. Left, okay, we'll concede, left rough. But not a bad shot, reasonable distance, and I still didn't quite get that ball. Now notice that path. That path was a little bit out to in. 262 carry, 281 total. Now you'll notice when I went super wide, where does that put the golf ball? More and more and more forward. Well, the more forward I get it, the more the club is trying to travel. Let's go down the line. The more the club is trying to travel to the left. The farther back I get it, the more the club is traveling to the right. So ball location, you guys can see that. Ball location, plays a big part in club delivery. That was interesting to see that club path go 2 degrees to the left, meaning the club head was traveling 2 degrees left of where I was intended aim, which was basically parallel to my barber pole on the ground right there. So ball location plays a big role in it. Now, learning how to really smash it, right? Having the golf ball centered in your stance. I mean, that would be something in a driver I wouldn't recommend. I'd like to see the golf ball kind of forward within your feet. So wide-ish stance. Now, if you find you can't rotate, okay, I'm all for, if you're a little bit older, I call it age-appropriate stance width, a little bit of a narrower stance. We're going to feel like we're swinging the club head a little bit more than trying to generate a lot of energy with the body. So those are critical things. Any more questions out there, Steve, you want to address before I move on? You could tee one up here, have some fun. Gosh, I want to hit a few really flushy ones for you guys today. Nothing like hitting a really sweet driver, and if you get in a bit of a roll with it, it's like the angels are singing, life is good. It's just so nice to smash it down the fairway. Well, the question, building a swing, where do I start? Okay, well, where do you start? Now, after the grip, let's talk about how you're going to get through the golf ball. These elements of feeling the weight of the golf club and how this sense of moving this club around you. You know, when you start playing golf, right, inevitably you do not want to miss. And the sensations are, can you get your hands on nicely? Build that grip so you have the weight of the club in your hands. I don't set, just kind of casually resting the club on the ground. It's always a part of me. I want you to feel that you can swing the weight of this club. And you'll notice as I take the club back, there's a sense, there's pressure in the feet. You can kind of refer back to what you saw with Martin Borgmeyer and Lee Trevino. Lee was always kind of settling into the shot. He wasn't standing still. Martin Borgmeyer the same way, because when you have pressure left and right, there's the opportunity for rhythm. Takeaway where handle first, club head last. And what that does is it gets the club head into a sense of whip right there, that the club develops its own momentum. It's not just something that we peel back with the hands. As I go, I'm soft with my hands, and you want to be soft. You don't want to be too tight. And the club builds its own momentum, and it helps rotate and turn you to the top. It gets you rotated, and if it gets you rotated, now you can develop some pretty good speed. How does that relate to the through swing? Okay. Well, guess what? The golf swing, my golf swing's maybe 1.1 seconds long, and to be fair, that's not a lot of time to think. Now, the beautiful back of the house, that supercomputer back there, is making compensations. It's trying to fix things for you. It's trying to organize how the club moves. And believe me, every swing you make is going to be some semblance of adjustments. There's no perfect golf swing. There's no golf swings that are exactly alike. So trying to be consistent is kind of that rabbit hole you can go down. But trying to be having some reliable pattern. Consistent? No. Reliable? Yes. Now, the things we're trying to do Think about this. Go to a down the line view here. If I'm in my down the line position and I have something that gets too steep too early, the back of the house right there is saying Mayday, because right now I've got a ball in front of me. I've got to do some crazy responses to get that club on the ball. The back of the house is going to do a pretty good job to figure that out, especially if you go to the range and hit any golf balls at all. So what we want to make sure we can do is travel freely with a golf club that's orbiting into a golf ball. To do that, you guys, we have to learn how to shallow things out. We have to have this circle of our swing. So when you look in the down line view right now, as I get over a golf ball, you can imagine as I take it back, and think about this. If my trail arm didn't bend, here's what you'd see. You'd see this little half circle right here. That would probably touch my wall if I kept going. But now watch what the trail arm's going to do to develop power. As I come back, it starts to bend. Well, that takes the plane of the golf club and kind of rotates it and shifts it up onto a little bit of a higher situation. Okay, it allows me to get close to my wall here and not hit it, actually. And then we've got to learn how to let that kind of float down back to a place where we can unwind and clobber the golf ball and use those accumulators, the rhythm of how that club lines up and collects the golf ball. Because if we don't, we're going to be in this situation where we get steep, because it feels the instinct to go to the target line is there, but now it's like, oh darn, I did it again. Now what? Now I've got to kind of slow down, use my eye-hand coordination just to get the face on the golf ball. Let's go to face on. I've got to use my eye-hand coordination just to get the face onto the golf ball, and that's a really slow way of doing things. And you know, if you're a reasonably strong dude, you might swing at 90 miles an hour, and you might hit it out there 210, 215, and you might scratch your head while other guys in your group kind of hit it 20, 30, 40 by, and you're like, man, what am I doing? I know I'm as strong as that guy. Okay, why does that guy casually hit it farther than me? I don't understand. Well, the thing you don't understand, it's perfectly common, is that you're not letting the golf club get in a place where your body is helping you to any degree to help you let the club accelerate nicely. You've taught yourself how to kind of stare at the golf ball, right? Pan eyes, just staring at it. God, hit that golf ball, please. But you're getting there with a steep delivery where you're backing up out of it. So I want to teach you how to practice. How do you get up to full speed? And, you know, think about this. We've got to get the weight of the golf club in a place that helps make sense, that we make sense on how to get the club in there so we can give it a reasonable smash for our physicality, okay? So here's what I want you to do. Assuming, and this is a big assumption on my part because, man, I've assumed this and I've looked like the first three letters of that, right? That nicely. So assuming that, let's go ahead and I'm going to nerd out with you a little bit, okay? You ready to go a little deep nerd with me on here? We're going to talk about positions in golf. Let's get our stance width a little bit wider than our hips. This address position we're going to call P1 right here. This is position 1. You'll notice how my hands aren't way forward, they're not way back. I call this mid-body hands. Now in P1, we still want to feel like we have some pressure in our feet. So this is how we're going to get started. Pressure in the feet, and then there's a sense of, there's an opportunity for rhythm to go to P2. P2 right there, if we go down the line, you'll see that the club head in my hands is pretty matched up right here. I tell you what, I wish I had a nickel for every one of you out there that did this and smashed this sign behind me, because that move right there is the Death Star. Because take a look how pinned my left arm is. That mother is a duck test. That's a no-no, okay? So we're going to get pressure in the feet, and we're going to go to P2 with some pressure. Boom. Notice how my chest and my lead arm are kind of still in the same relationship right here. We'll call that 90 degrees. Give me a face on there for me. We call that 90 degrees. There's my arm and my chest. As I go, give me a down the line, and I turn to P2 right here. That same relationship's pretty much intact. I didn't just take my trail arm and start the lawnmower and pull my arm across my chest and kind of crush my arms onto my body. So I want you to rotate. Feel like your chest can point at the down the line camera right there. Okay, I haven't really pulled my arms across. Now I can have some elevation. I can take this grip and I can displace it. I can get this thing up reasonably high and deep behind me. Okay, not deep early. Again, wrist and arm travel kind of together. Handle gets high. So to do this, you got to do this nice and slow. You really do. Let's go face on this. You got to go really slow on this. We got to get organized over a golf ball. Feel pressure in the feet. Feel like your chest kind of outturns your lead arm a little bit so that we can turn and elevate. So if I was to stop right here and just kind of walk and look to face on camera, how pinned are my arms against my body? They're not. Okay, I didn't pull my arm and pin it against my body. My arms are in front of me. I'm freed up, I'm soft, and if I'm freed up and soft, I have an opportunity for speed. So learning how to smash the driver, realize that it's not something where we're trying to take these arms and pin them against our body. That's a no-no. It's an elevation. If I had an axe and I had a big piece of wood here and it was my job to chop it, man, I wouldn't want to do that, to be fair. But I would certainly have a situation where I had to elevate my arms, use some power accumulators, use my body, come down, body, I would free things up. And to smash a driver, I want to free things up as well. So we need that displacement. We need that elevation. So that's how we're going to kind of start our backswing. Little tip for you, okay? As we go from P1 address, position 1, not something you have to go to the bathroom or anything, right? Position 1, we're going to position 2, okay? Down the line, position 3, lead arm parallel. It's got some distance away from us, and you'll notice it's not parallel to the target line anymore. It has a little bit of depth behind us, and this is position 3. Position 4 is kind of something that is created by the momentum that we started from P1 through the journey of P3. Now, guess what a lot of people do from here? The first move they make, over the top. And then we're stuck here. We can't have this power accumulator. We got to stand up, thumb down, and usually squirt something out to right field. So the feels from here, we have this nice deep turn, hands high. Now on the way down, P4 to P5, lead arm still has some angle. You can see my left arm is still kind of pointed out to right field right there. That has the club behind me somewhat. That lets the back of the house make those mild compensations. And for those folks out there that can never square the face, this is huge because the club's so far behind me now that it has time, and you have time to let this golf club do its thing and square. If you get to the top and get a little anxious with rotation and get your lead arm too out, you can't square this. You'll smash it into the ground. The only thing people do when their lead arm gets out and the club gets steep is they raise the handle, get the face pointed to the right, and then they wonder why they hit it, why they push it off to the right all the time, and they slice it. And then the rabbit hole journey there is, then they figure out, try to give themselves time by moving the ball forward, using this right hand to try to square the face. If they could just simply get the club a little deeper in transition, like it's kind of going down my back wall right there, now what? You got time. You've bought time to have plenty of opportunity to get the face square on the golf ball. So that's massive, okay? Now you're like, okay, Martin, you've taken us to the golf ball. That's great. The golf ball's gone. So the real magic here, when you looked at Hulk Smash Martin Borgmeyer, guess what? You saw this. The guy left his feet, he pushed so hard. Why leave his feet, everybody? Because he is creating a catapult. He's taking this condition of the driver, getting his good hands on there, right? He created in the backswing more than anybody I've ever seen. Give me a line here. Had this crazy trail and this massive heavy push right here. Then he's down into the ground, so he's got this angle here. Give me a face on. He's got this angle right here, and then he's pushing like crazy, which helps accelerate this angle to line up and catch the golf ball. And you could see this where he actually left the ground. That physicality is unbelievable. I can't do that. I wish I could. You know what I mean? I wish I could teach myself to be a little taller, too. I would do that, too. Okay? But the point is, this guy's got this great sense of getting into the ground, lining this golf club up by using rotation and push. He leaps off the ground for a blank. The world doesn't even know that big dude's on it. Now, granted, it's only a millisecond, but if a fruit fly was watching, it might be a long lunch break for the fruit fly, okay? So everything's relative. So this guy pushes off the ground, lands on it, and he developed club head speed of 155 miles per hour and ball speed at 231. Insanity, okay? So you go, well, Martin, is follow through really that important? And I'd say, well, I don't know. Let's go to video. Let's go back to our videos, And let's look at a really cool one. I want to show you. There's Hulk Smash. Show me Sam Snead and Jack, please. So this is great. We're going to look at Sam Snead and Jack. So you got Sam Snead hitting an iron. Watch the beauty. This is like watching a fish swim. Just easy. Just, oh, look at that. Gorgeous finish. Balance is awesome. Here's Jack. This is 1963 Pebble Beach. Okay, there is more of a smash. And look at that recoil. Let's watch that. Nice big, heel comes off the ground, massive booty rotation, and Jack had a nice thick booty right there. He could turn that thing. Now watch, he's going to set that leg down. That heel comes up. It's going to go down. That big booty of his is going to rotate, and he's going to smash this thing. Now the momentum in this is overwhelming, right? So this goes ripping around, darn near bounces off his back. Now look at Sam Snead, though. Not the same. So this is golf. You've got a variety of motions in this, okay? I'm going to watch this one more time just because I love it. Sam Slam and Scene, trust me, he could hit it out there farther than most. He was probably the longest guy out there for his generation. 180-something times. And then Big Jack here, they used to call him Fat Jack. I just call him Thick Jack, Strong Jack, right? So he made this big motion, and that is a robust turn. So let's go to face on. Let's talk about it. So you got these two swings. You got the organized swing for an iron, right? But that's not what this episode's about. We'll do more episodes about the artistry of iron shots, how to really control your iron shots. That's probably my best part of my game is hitting iron shots. Looking at Sam Snead, he had this lovely looking, he could hold his finish, looked like he could stand there for a week. He looked statuesque and organized, and everything had its place. And then Jack looked a little different, albeit he was pretty much in control. But you could see how he went ahead and let the energy of this club kind of go right around him and then recoil. Because there's a lot of, when you're smashing into a golf ball, you're setting that thing on, it's traveling. And our job from there is to kind of learn how to slow down in style. Well, Jack hit it so hard with this rotation, transmitted all his energy out into the golf club. Guess what? That wasn't slowing down. It's lucky he didn't break this club on his back. And then there's that nice little recoil. I call it hands on the heart. So a lot of times, I want you to let this club whiz around you, but let it go back to hands on the heart. Let me hit a shot, and I'll show you what hands on the heart looks like. So I'm going to try to smack one for you. My per driver performance hasn't been great. Not going to lie. Let's see how I do if I can send one out there nicely. I am living in the heel today, but here is hands on the heart. Reasonable ball, but that's a far one because I hit the sweet spot. Hate that. Let's go to so 260. Like, oh my gosh, I'm playing with the young guys. They just hit it 50 by me, 60 by me. They're looking at me like, hey, old man, come on, you can keep up. Oh, you need to play up a tee? So there's a mishit. My frame is right over the contact, but that was a heel hit, too spinny. Didn't go so great. But anyway, I got a little work to do, right? And so here's what you can do at home. A little bit of Dr. Scholl's foot powder, spray up that face, know where your impacts are. And, I tell you what, mine haven't been so great. They've been a little bit heel side of center. So I could do a couple things to that. Yeah, you could say, well, Martin, you could get farther away from the golf ball. I could get farther away from the golf ball. But give me a down the line, and I'll tell you what it is, just because I've lived with this, swing issue my whole life, is that I've created a scenario where I've taken the golf club and I've pushed it a little bit farther away than I really want it, rather than rotating and keeping my pelvis basically home. This pelvis is getting out to play, and I don't want it to get out to play. I want it to rotate, stay home, and work its way back. This booty can go to sleep back here. Let's get this thing rotating and staying behind us rather than using the ground the wrong way, shifting the club out and hitting it a little on the neck. So that's why I'm hitting the sweet spot, okay? So there's lots of little things. There's drills you can do to kind of help. Week's episode, you saw I got at my contraption that basically held an aim stick up against my tailbone. And with that in mind, let me hit one, see how I do. Change my intent a little bit, and then show you a nice hands on the heart finish. So I am doing a little piece from what I did last week, which was getting organized in my address position. Right now, I have the mental trick of my rear end is on the aim stick right there. I know it's not there, but this is how you can practice and feel these things. Let me see if I can get that sensation that it stays there. Eyes on the ball, my booty's on that aim stick. And so that's going to be a lot better right there. That ball was hit a little bit more in the face. Right, because I kept it in the middle of the face. So there's a 287 ball. And that's not from being swinging any faster. That's just a bit more economy of strike. That ball faded a tick, but that's okay. It faded and went farther. If it goes farther, I've got a shorter club into the green. I'm all good. The path was decent. The face was a sliver open. It was and you know, the spin numbers came down because it was hit where it was intended to be hit, out the middle. So it's quite easy to feel, you know, how my booty stayed back. So how are you going to practice this stuff? How are you going to go to the range and kind of really do something meaningful that can mesh into you and feel like you own it, right? So let's do a session. We're going to do a 3-ball session. 3 balls, easy peasy lemon squeezy. The first 2 balls are going to be more Tai Chi based. Okay, the sense of, can you make this motion? Let me show you how I want to hit it. I'm going to swing it full swing, 70 miles an hour, club head speed. And this is where you need to have patience, people, while you're developing your swing, okay? So this motion of, can I be super mindful of how I'm moving in space? Let me chip one down there, but a full motion, just less speed. That's less than 70 miles an hour. But I can really learn from that. I can learn from that motion. It's slow enough for my brain to kind of understand what happened. Okay, and I want you to be able to move, understand what happened. Don't just look at a golf ball and smash away, because if you do that, you're really not making any changes. We've got to kind of become more aware of ourselves. If we put our attention somewhere in our awareness, that's when you make the big changes. And you have to be patient enough to make those changes. You have to be patient enough to become aware. Now, driver feels. Again, back to the accumulator points for you. Back to swing number 2, nice and easy peasy, so we can have some awareness of this. Can we have a reasonable stance a little bit wider than hip width? The golf ball just forward of center within my lead foot, and I use the golfer's toolbox all the time with that. Okay, so the next one, can I have my awareness developing my backswing, letting the club shallow as I just as a baseball player waiting on that pitch with that bat shallow to hit that ball over the fence out there, or certainly for something for a base or two. That felt pretty solid, reasonable strike. So that's me building my awareness. So I did 2. Guess what? Third one, have some fun. Let's go full screen. Have some fun on that third one. Go ahead and send it. You've earned the right. You've done some work. You became aware of the motion. You know, and nobody really wants to do that. People don't want to stand on the range and do that kind of thing. You know why? Somebody might look at you funny. I don't care if people look at me funny. You've already figured that out. Be different. Get better. Do things other people aren't willing to do, and you're going to improve a ton. You know, when people come to my golf school, we do tons of this kind of behavior. I'll say to them, these are like sometimes like captains of industry, or could be just a retired, you know, the city worker comes out, saves their money, and comes to see me, and I love that. Now, here's the thing. I don't care if you are flying in a private jet or you came in, you know, in a rented, your uncle's rented 72 Malibu. It doesn't matter. I'm there to do my best to help you play your best golf. And I'm going to treat you, and I'm going to hold you to task in a friendly but coaching way to help get the most out of you. That's a big, big deal. So when I say that, I may give you something that feels weird. Feeling weird is absolutely perfect. You know why? Because that is different, and you have to behave, and you have to be different. So that 3-ball set is a fantastic way to go. Steve, any more questions from the audience out there? Wrap it up. Okay. It's like, let's do that. That's not a question. That's more of a statement. You know, let's go. I'm going to do one more video. Let's go to a video talk. And I'm going to show you this great video. Show me the Tiger and Rory video, if you don't mind. Pull that up. So I love this. Look at these 2 dudes. Okay, I'm fanboys for both of them. Watch this trail leg. This is kind of the last little parting shot. That trail leg is losing some flex in the backswing. That's allowing that pelvis to rotate. We love that, okay?
No
Look at how the
tremors.
club's not sucked behind them. Please don't whip the club behind you.
Sorry
Trying to
about
hit
him
the
in the
driver,
middle.
none of this. Look at these two guys have some width. The club is in front of them as they take their club back.
No doubt,
Now
you're
watch the
awesome at
journey
it.
of this. Watch the journey of this as it goes up into a, you know what I mean? They're getting that club up. Their arms aren't separated. They've got some nice width. They're turning their back to the target. This is like golf poetry in motion right here. They are brothers. See, salt and pepper right there. They look fantastic. Club is high. Club face is perfect. Look at how high the club is, okay? Now, these are great athletes that are tuned for this. Now, let's watch the club work its way back down into impact, right? So they're very balanced. You can kind of see that they're, now this is what I love about this video. Well, look at this little squatty move. Here's the Martin Borgmeier getting squatty so they can push. Now, they're not leaping off the ground like Martin did, but you can be sure that this push now, that yellow arrow, that push is helping them rotate through the golf ball, you know, and Rory swings it north of 120, as did Tiger for his whole career. The pelvis is open, and this is just glorious. Now, Rory's a little younger. He's 30 years old. Tiger's 44 or whatever he is. Rory can rotate and hold his side bend a little bit. Tiger's been on the table too many times to count for back surgeries and different things. So Tiger, you guys, it has been so much fun. Let's go to a fade. Let's hit one more ball. Let's go to a foresight. Let's hit one smash out there. Let's have a little fun with this last one, and we'll wrap up this driver session. So I want to use all the accumulators. Got to be soft, a little bit of a waggle here. Watched enough good swings. Let's see if we can mash one. Not bad, but a little on the face, so it's not going to give me the ball speed that I want. But guess what? That's down the middle. I can take that. I can hit it on the green from there. But man, I wish that was 35 yards farther than that because it's a little low. Let's go face on. But everybody, I really, really appreciate you tuning in and having some fun with me on a Saturday morning. I love talking golf, and I hope you realize that. I hope everybody's happy and healthy out there. And I know we're kind of getting back to golf, getting out on the golf course. I mean, amid this coronavirus pandemic, the golf course is a beautiful place to be. Now that a lot of ranges are open around the country, in Arizona, golf didn't shut down. For me, I was pretty blessed that was the case. But I want everybody to stay happy and healthy, and I'm here for you at Tour Striker Golf. You know, we have golf schools, we've got products. I am a coach for the people. I coach some major champions, and I coach people that just are like, hey, what end do I hold? And I love both of those type of people. I really don't care who comes to see me for golf lessons. Golf school is coming up in June. We'll be at Edgewood, Tahoe. Now, if you want a slice of heaven, Edgewood, Tahoe, June 8th and 9th, or more in the Pacific Northwest, Tethero Golf Club in Bend, Oregon, June 15th and 16th. And, of course, we'll social distance. We'll have to play some golf. We'll have some laughs. We'll live some life. That's what's important. So I'm signing off. Thanks for watching, and have a great day.